Hola, everybody. Oh boy. Okay, I want to talk today. Well, it's going to be kind of a little bit of a mixed bag. All I can say is keep doing the mind training. That's all I can really say. And, go back to basics as many times as you need to go back to basics. You know, if you're having emotions coming up, that's ego. Ask Holy Spirit to see it differently. And I would also suggest if you're really committed to clearing in the morning, as soon as you get up, and this has been a prayer of mine for quite some time. Holy Spirit, bring it on. Just bring it on. I'm ready to really move past the lessons that I would learn. And it may get a little crazy initially, but I guarantee, okay, so this is the one thing I've gotten from Saint Germain lately, because I'm really putting A Course in Miracles together with, why? What are we doing here? What is this all about? And I think Saint Germain has the ticket on this one. In some energetic form, when we still saw the truth, when we were perfect and we knew it. This was prior to birth. We were all offered an opportunity to come to the earth realm, and I'm sure there are other realms, but we'll just speak of this one because that's the one we find ourselves in together. This opportunity to come to this earth realm to deal with fear, because we had no fear. When we were, just a loving thought in the mind of God, in experiencing it that way, everything that way, in eternity, not even in time and space, we didn't really understand the concept of fear. We really couldn't understand the concept of love. So we were given this opportunity to come to this plane and take on human form to really understand fear and love, because that's all there is. It's either fear or love. That's it. Nothing else. And right now, all I can say is keep doing the mind training that we have presented in, however, the past videos here. See that you're projecting. If someone's bothering you or you have a strong emotion about something, pull back the projection. It's yours, because it's all ours. I mean, it's all mine. And own it. Just take it on. It's mine. Even though in my heart, when I start doing something on a big belief, I don't believe that for a second. I think you're doing something to me. Or I take something you say personally, and it feels very real. But that's part of this process of really getting the distinction between love and fear, and that's why we're here. And so just keep doing the mind training. Pull it back. Holy Spirit, help me see this differently, and keep going. And as one of you said to me one day, I'm saying that prayer, Holy Spirit, help me see this differently, at least 1,000 times a day. And I say, that's great. You're really taking on the mind training, and you really want to wake up. That's what that tells me. Because no one can do this for you. And that's what, maybe not in the where we're at now, but in the in the past 20 years, many people took on gurus, you know. Oh, I want to follow this one, or I want to follow that one, or I want to follow this one. And the reality is that does nothing, really. Because the mind training is what you do every day. In what is your commitment to either allowing yourself to continue to explore fear, or really taking it on to move beyond it. So with Saint Germain, I think at one point, I can't remember, it was, I can't remember if it was his or mine, it doesn't matter, but it's a perfect metaphor to see this. We were given this opportunity and we were told to stand in line. And then our name was called and we came up to the front of the line. Oh, good, it's my turn to get on the ride. And then we got born into whatever circumstance we were born in, because there were lessons that we wanted to learn. And our first experience of that was with, that first day we were born into a birth family. Okay. Now this is what I don't know. Does Saint Germain know anything? Hell, I don't know. But it sounded, it rung true for me. And Saint Germain was saying, okay, here's the thing that we all have forgotten until we remember. That in order to get off of this ride, we've got to do the work and wake up. Or else we just keep, and actually Saint Germain used this, and this is what Jesus said to me back when I was in hospice. So I thought, wow, okay, they're given the same information. On the last exhale, if you don't get it, if you don't wake up while you're here in this lifetime, the last exhale, you die. The first inhale, you're being born to parents again, to continue the experience of learning the lessons that you would learn. And I don't know, it doesn't have the same impact on me now, but I remember when I first got this, when I was in hospice, I was horrified. I was like, oh my God, and I was doing, God, I was in Lisa Natoli's 40-day program. I took it for about 2 years back to back. And she had one lesson in there, take your bed and walk. And I remember waking up from this conversation with whomever I was conversing with in my dream, my nighttime dream. I woke up thinking, I'm going to figure out how to take my bed. I'm going to figure out how to walk. I'm going to go for it. I can't, all I could feel was, oh, I've been through this so many times before. And I'm so tired of it. I'm tired of it. There was a process I did back in the 60s. And it was, you wrote down your whole story. They gave you, I think, a day to write down your whole story. Just write it all down, the entire story, all of it. Everything that had a hit, you wrote it down. And I must have had 3 or 4 pages, small print. And then they paired us up with someone. And we had to share our story to who we were paired up with. And I didn't know the woman I was paired up with. But I read my story and she read her story. And we had to keep going. I think it was probably maybe an hour into it that I got, this is nuts. This is nuts. And it became real apparent of the hallucination I was trapped in, because when she was sharing her story, I couldn't even hear the words anymore. But it was like a bad LSD, trip. Her head would get real small, and then her head would get real big, and her lips would kind of go funny. And she was just sharing her story. And I thought, oh my God, I'm losing my mind. And then it came to me to share my story again. And I just raised my hand, and there were probably, I don't know, 75, 100 people in the room. And I raised my hand, and someone came over and said, what's the matter? And I said, I can't do this anymore. I can't do it anymore. I can't, here, take my story. I can't do it anymore. And she was so sweet. I don't really remember what I got or what I understood at the moment, but she said, great, you can leave now. And I left, but my partner, she replaced me and listened to my partner's story again. And I really see that's how our stories are, that we have to disappear. They're stories that live in our minds. And we keep repeating them over and over and over and over until we start seeing the hallucination for what it is. And at some point, we've got to jump with Holy Spirit and go, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. And the good news here is, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I'd like to think on some level, I don't need to come back and do the story anymore. I got the point of it. And I still keep getting the point, because I must say, I just, not too long ago, I had a huge lesson with this, and someone came in, this was, I was still doing one-on-ones, even though I knew I can't do one-on-ones anymore. And they came in, and for about a half an hour, they kept sharing their story, which was basically they shared their drama. And I swear I went back into that hallucinogenic state again of going, I can't do this. And I must say, because Lo Tang, the Tibetan mind training stuff, they have a great little meditation, which is basically when you're around someone that's sharing some drama, trauma, pain, opinion, whatever, is just to breathe in their suffering, breathe in their suffering, and exhale grace. And I did this with this person for about half an hour. And then I fell back into my earthly egoic mind. And I got angry. And Norma, I think you're on the Zoom call. I think you can relate to this. And I become very short with them. I said, why are you, it felt like someone was vomiting on me. They weren't, they were just sharing their story, but I couldn't listen to it anymore. I couldn't listen to it. It was like being assaulted. It's the same thing for me that when I was still in chiropractic, 35 years, it was a long time. And it was at the point when I said, I can't hear your complaints anymore. And I said, the only way I'll still see you is come in, I'll do whatever I'm going to do. And the chances are really good you'll feel better, and because you trust me, not because of what I'm doing. But I just want you to share what you love about your life, or we can be in silence together. And so I really see this is kind of the end of this lifetime has really been this real awareness of stories go on for as long as we allow them. And when are you going to say, enough? I'm done. Raise your hand. The angel will come over and say, okay, you can leave now. And she'll replace you with whomever you're having a hard time with. She'll take over. They'll take over. And so it really is this amalgamation. I mean, I really feel like, and I just say, keep doing the mind training. Because after I lost it with this person, I did send them an email and said, I didn't apologize because I'd never apologize. That's admitting someone may be wrong. But I did say, I appreciate that you really needed someone to join with you, and I was unable to. And I didn't hear my guidance, and my guidance kept telling me, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And I did it anyway. And then I suffered as a result of it. And it's like, and I didn't write that in email. It was a very simple email. I just said, I know you were looking for someone to join with you, and that was not my guidance. And I wish you well. I know you have many people in your life. You'll find someone that you can join with. And I'm hoping that that's the last time I don't listen to guidance. Because guidance, Holy Spirit is always there telling me, Calico, sit down. Here's the popcorn. Sit down, relax. You can even hold my hand if you need to. I know this part in the movie gets scary and you like reacting to it. Probably not a good thing. So sit down, have some more popcorn. And it really fits into what, this idea that this is a giant ride that we stepped up for, we signed on to. We said, yes, I want to experience fear. Because when we were coming from the angelic realms, if for lack of a better word, or pure consciousness, we had no concept of what fear was. We had no experience of fear. Hell, we didn't even have an experience of love. We were just happy. Period. Then we decided to take this ride. Oh, doesn't that sound like a good idea? We could experience fear. We could experience pain. God, and I could even see myself doing that, that might be an interesting experience. And I could so see myself signing on for the ride. And then to get on the ride and realize the only way I'm getting off of this ride is if I change my mind. I had to change my mind. I had to change my mind. And then I would have the opportunity to get off the ride. Other than that, I would end up coming back and starting from scratch again with whatever lessons I didn't get in this lifetime. And that's exhausting, just even thinking about it. It's like, oh my God. But I get how seductive it is, because even though this person wanted a one-on-one, I knew it was going to trigger me. And so I was all prepared, joining with them. Breathe in their suffering, exhale grace. Breathe in their suffering, exhale grace. And I was able to do that for about a half an hour. Oh, I know. And then they started sharing something about what other teachers are telling them. Oh, and I said, I really am not interested. I'm really not interested. And I'm sure they took it personally. And it triggered in me this feeling of I want to get out of this. But the reality is the only way I could get out of it was being humbled enough to say, you know what? I wasn't listening to guidance. I should not be joining with you right now. I love you. Much love, and move on. And maybe I've got it, maybe I don't. I don't know. I don't know. There was a video I was watching on YouTube this morning. It was a sweet video. It was this high-level dressage mare. I was really into horses at some point in my life. And she was being ridden by, a woman all in her suit and hat, and just beautiful, beautiful horse performing. And at her side was this mare's foal. I don't know, maybe a month old, very young foal. And the foal just pranced alongside of his mother. Beautiful, just picking up his legs, and his tail was high in the air. He was having a good time. And while I was watching this, I thought, this is the physical representation of how I see myself with Holy Spirit. To stay by Holy Spirit's side, stay by the truth's side, and have a good time. Have a good time. But stay by the truth side. And that's why guidance at some point is so critical. And all I can say is the more you clear your mind, the more you keep clearing, and you may, and I just know that because I've done it 1,000 times, this is for me, watch for the loopers. Those situations that keep coming up again and again and again. Those are our big lessons that we must learn. And until we learn those lessons, we will be coming back and doing this all over again. Now, maybe you're not as old as I am, but I'm getting close to, at some point I will drop the body and, move on. And it's like, I don't want to think that I have to come over and start this whole nightmare again, just because I forgot I'm a visitor on this ride. It's not real. And that's really the quantum that Jesus is pointing to. We've got to eventually see we're on this ride, and it's a quantum ride called, step right up here, folks. Experience fear and love. For people that have never experienced love or fear before. And Saint Germain says that there's a whole host of people waiting to come and do this. In my mind, I think, why? But the reality is, okay, all I have to do is think of my mind. Okay, I'm here. I have this unique opportunity to keep clearing my mind, to keep healing my mind, heal my mind. Anytime I have an opinion or an emotion, or think I know something, or want to do something without guidance, it's for me to stop and go, no, I'm here to get off this ride of fear. And the only way I can get off this ride of fear is to acknowledge I'm on it. That's the first step. And that's where we watch our thoughts and think, well, I just had a kind of not so nice thought about so-and-so, or I really had a thought about, the president of the United States, and it wasn't loving, or I had fear about money. And that's not loving. It's watching those thoughts. And then once I see those thoughts, to hang on to them, go, Holy Spirit, do you see this thought that I just thought? Help me interpret it differently through your loving eyes, through your unfearful eyes, through the mind, the one great mind of God that all of us were born out of, and with any luck will return to. And it's the only reason we're here. It's absolutely the only reason we're on this ride, is we thought, wow, I can see myself probably at, probably 12 or 13, at one of those impressionable years where I always thought I had great ideas. And I can see myself going, ooh, this sounds like a fun ride, you guys. Look, read here. Let's go. Let's go wait in line. And you didn't read I didn't read the small print because I wasn't looking for guidance. But the small print said, you won't be able to get off this ride until you get the lesson you would learn. Even if I'd seen that, I wouldn't have thought, oh, what does that mean? Now it means a lot. So I just, want to share with everybody, oh my God, let's all join in getting off this ride. Okay, I think everybody at the, around the age that I'm talking to has experienced fear. Now they're either thinking, I want off this ride, or they're thinking, well, I just haven't met the love of my life yet. If I could meet the right person, then I could live in love. Well, that's the ego saying, here, honey, I've got a big red apple for you. Take a bite. Enjoy the life that follows. Okay, well, I think I've said enough about this. And it really is just do the basics, go back to basics. Watch your thoughts, watch your thoughts, watch your thoughts. And just keep clearing, ask to see it differently. Get help in seeing it differently. And it's not necessarily from a person. It can be, but it's not necessarily from a person. But I guarantee your Holy Spirit is right there, ready to answer any questions you have. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to end the recording. Goodbye, YouTube people. Let's see. Sorry.